Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
This is Cafecito.
And Crime.
Yes.
All day, every day.
Yep.
24/7. You remember when that would be like in the radio? You would listen to a song and be like, this is magic. 90
yeah,
something.
that was like in the late
All
90s.
day,
every day. Y en la noche, ¿verdad?
Y en la noche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ponían puras clásicas.
Yeah, like R&B and stuff.
R&B, yeah.
Doesn't Sunday is Sunny 99.1 still a thing? Con Delilah?
I don't think, dude, I used to go to the laundromat.
Uh-huh.
When I lived with your sister,
Uh-huh.
and I think Emma was a baby, and I would go like early so that I can finish washing like todo lo que tenía que lavar. And I always listened to Sunny 99.1. It was the coolest thing ever.
With Delilah.
Yeah, and then Delilah had like the most amazing voice of life. Dude.
Yeah, she was meant to be a broadcaster.
She was.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened. Oh, we need to look her up.
Yeah.
A ver qué le pasó a Delilah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hola, everybody. ¿Cómo están? Bien, gracias. Aquí, chileando. Mm-hmm. Everything's been chilling, thrilling, billing.
Apparently, we got...
we have a... we have a petition from a
listener.
A listener. A very, very annoying listener. That she's saying that whenever we do our intro, we never...
No, last week.
Last week.
Que la semana pasada,
sí.
We just went straight into the story that we didn't even talk about our day.
Okay.
Or our week.
Okay. So I will talk about my week. My week has been horrible with the gato and the dog that cannot get along. And so I am stressed about that. And then today today I had a pretty good day, but Estela bought me lunch and then my suegra bought me coffee, so it was a 2-timer, dude. Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So we had a good day. Pero porque está tan caliente, pues.
It is really hot outside.
I literally just went to the store to go return something. Cuando salí, I was sweating like sweat was dripping.
Yeah, you're also wearing all black.
Yeah, well, that's my life. I mean, I literally, I look at other stuff. Sí me miro que ahí tengo más ropa, pero siempre es negro.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were wearing gray. No, you were wearing black too.
Yeah, I was. I mean, the same. I mean, this is what I have, and that's what I like. Cuando lavo, that just goes on top.
Exactly.
You know, of my clothes at the house.
Uh-huh.
So then when I'm going to leave the house, I just pull what's on top. And it's...
usually black. No, y luego a veces cuando voy a la tienda, like, I'll look at all the shirts and the ones that I like are black. Que quieres que haga? Like, I don't know. I don't know. And then, like, sometimes my husband does the same thing. Sorry, me pegué. Like, cuando vamos a salir y luego we're like, okay, me voy a poner esto. Y luego salimos and we're both in black. He's like, are we wearing black again? I'm like...
all day, every day.
All day, every day with Delilah. ¿Y tú? How's your day been?
Good. We bought lunch and Mom also bought me coffee.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a good day.
It was good.
It was a hot day.
It was hot. Besides that, I think we've had a good week. I mean, I think my week has been chilling, thrilling. It's been kind of... Killing. I've been trying to get used to some changes at my home. So I've been struggling a little bit. I'm not going to lie, pero ahí la llevo.
Yeah.
Yo me tomo medicinas.
Good for you, brother.
Yo me tomo mis medicinas.
Good for you.
Porque si no te las tomas, pues no te vas a sentir bien.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I concur. Yes. So with that being said, I hope this is enough for the listener because she was harassing us.
You know who you are.
So hopefully esto le funciona.
This was sufficient enough for you. Gracias.
Gracias.
For your feedback. We appreciate it.
And we just wanted you to know we are listening to your feedback. So what do you have for us, sister?
So for today's case, we are going to Bryan, Texas.
Oh, we're staying home.
Sí, ¿tú sabes dónde está?
No.
It's close to College Station.
I know that it was, dude, I get confused with College Station and for some reason no sé dónde like exactly geographically it is. Uh-huh. Pero pues I'm pretty sure you'll tell me. So if you would like to find out where Bryan is and go with us, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. Now, I don't think this is going to mean a lot to anybody except unless you live in Texas. Mm-hmm. But the fun, random, interesting fact about Bryan was that it was named after Stephen F. Austin's nephew.
Mm-hmm.
His name was William Joel Bryan, who actually ended up donating a land for a town site for the railroad company.
Oh.
And then the town site was named in his honor, which is now known as Bryan, Texas.
Bryan, Texas.
And then there we have like a big ass statue of, no, that's Sam Houston.
That is Sam Houston.
Yeah,
Dude,
I was confused. Stephen F. Austin, that's the university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nada que ver. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it was named after his nephew.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He brought settlers
Would
here.
I name a city after my nephew? I don't think so.
No, but he didn't name it after his nephew.
Oh, he didn't.
No, he didn't make the choice.
I was about to say.
But it was just named like within the peeps, the heads of the towns.
Oh, okay.
Because he donated some land. They were like, well, this land is going to be named after you, sir.
So yeah,
brother.
I have a few nephews, and I'm sorry, guys, but no, I
No,
wouldn't.
I don't think anybody would ask you. So
No, I don't think and I don't have any land.
And you don't, no tienes terreno.
No tengo terrenos because I should have been looking for terrenos
In
in 1986 when I was fucking born.
Instead of being born.
Instead of being born.
You should have already been looking for terrenos.
Oye, porque instead of me learning how to walk, looking for terrenos already.
Why were you napping?
I don't know. I wasn't looking for terrenos, I'll tell you that much. So I'm sorry to my nephews, pero y'all get nothing. Your tia has nothing. Nothing.
Don't we all?
Don't we all
have nothing?
Y luego?
Okay, so I think we say that about every case, but I don't think I had never heard of this case before, and I have never heard of a case like this before.
Just a fucking plane. Just a fucking plane just right now. No tiene nada que hacer el puto plane.
Why is it going so slow?
Yeah.
Like, you're like
Get your ass on. Sorry for
Hold on.
the plane.
Yeah. Okay, it's gone. It's just really nasty.
Oh.
And sad. But I mean, they're all like that, but it's just like you would never see this come like where it goes. You're like, what the fuck?
No, but I think that I know what you mean, that you're like, this is really nasty, but I feel like every time we redo it, like we've obviously read about a lot of cases, so every time, and you still don't believe that que eso puede pasar por la mente de esa
and
mujer.
happens
like
more than once.
Like you're like, ¿cómo eso es posible?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I think what the problem is. It has nothing to do, it has to do with the fact that you still think about it like, ¿cómo puede ser eso posible? Like, how? So I completely agree with you.
So we're going to begin today's case. So this is the case of Kelly Sifuentez and Christian Olsen. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. Now, we'll begin with Kelly, and then we'll get into, them, and Christian, and then both of them. Now, Kelly Sifuentez was born Kelly Jo Lloyd. She was born on October 14th of 1966 in Franklin, Texas, to parents Geraldine and Charles Lloyd.
Bro, if you are from Texas and your name is Geraldine, you're the shit. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
Geraldine.
I think they called her Jerry.
Yeah. But just the name Geraldine.
Yeah.
Like we even
it's
say
Geraldine,
it country.
Right? Or
yeah,
is
it's Geraldine.
It's not a Geraldine?
No, it's Geraldine.
Geraldine.
But what I'm saying is we even say a country Geraldine,
Geraldine.
No, last time, sorry, side note, my daughter and I were on our way to your house, and she's like, I don't know what, something happened at school or something that they were telling her she has an accent for being Texan. And then she's like, no, we don't, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, we do.
Who told her she had an accent?
Somebody at school. I don't remember if it
that
was
also
like a
lives
teacher
in Texas?
that also lives in Texas. So then we were talking about it, and I'm like, so say something. And then she's like, we don't sound
I think
like
for
that.
certain words, te salen.
No, como when I was telling her, I was like, say pudding.
Why are you saying pudding?
But it was pudding.
Yeah, who said pudding?
I say pudding.
Did you say it on purpose?
No, I literally just said I better say pudding, and she said it, and then I was like, and then asked Google, and so we asked Google how to say it, and she's like, oh, we do sound like Texan.
Well, you say pudding
Well,
because
see,
that's
everybody
ing.
does it. Everybody says it differently.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting because we do have apparently
an accento. But any whore. Now, Kelly was their second child to Geraldine and Charles, or I think they used to call him Charlie el Señor. They already had an older daughter. Her name was Cindy. Now, for all intents and purposes, Kelly had a lovely childhood. She, the Lloyd family lived in the suburbs. Charles worked, and Geraldine was a homemaker. So, she stayed home with the children. As she grew up, Kelly was described as your typical kid or teenager. You know, she loved to dance, and I think she was in dance. She liked to go to concerts. They said that her favorite band was Kiss, and she was specifically very close to her mom. And much like her mom, Kelly also aspired to be a wife and a mother and have a home of her own, have her own family. And she would have them at a very young age. When Kelly was in her senior year of high school, she met and began dating a boy named Felix Sifuentez. 3 months later, the couple got married, and Kelly was soon pregnant and gave birth to their first daughter, a girl named Melissa.
Espérate. So they were in high school. In what grade did you say?
Senior?
So she was what, 17?
18?
18? Oh, so she was ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they got married 6 months after meeting.
3.
Y luego they had a baby. Dang.
She got pregnant and then she had a
girl.
baby. She knew what she wanted.
Okay, girl. Get it.
Their marriage was described as a good marriage. And I think for them being so young, Felix provided well for the family and they were comfortable. He had his own company that he named after Kelly called Kelly's Plumbing.
I was about to say, what did he do?
He had his own company called
Por
Kelly's
eso,
Plumbing.
mensa, te estoy diciendo que I was about to ask you cuando dijiste.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! He's gonna shoot! Oi! Shot fired. Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Kelly was able to stay home with her daughter, and as Melissa grew up, she and Kelly were very close, much like Kelly was with her mom, Geraldine. And when Melissa was 12, Kelly gave birth to her second child, a boy named Kevin. And it was actually reported that Kelly and Melissa had a relationship that like como hermanas. Now, when Kevin was born and he came into the picture, it didn't cause any type of strain on Kelly and Melissa's relationship. I think it actually bonded them closer porque ella le ayudaba con el niño porque ella estaba un poquito más grandecita. She was 12, you know? Now, at this point, the Sifuentez family is your typical family. You know, things were going well until they weren't.
Yeah. So I was gonna say about that is because she probably was so young también.
Cuando la tuvo a su hija.
So she probably was like learning también, you know,
as
or
she
growing
went.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of information on this, what I'm about to say, but what we do know is that in 1992, Felix, who was 28 at the time, went to prison for an encounter with a minor.
Okay.
From what I read, I did find an article, a newspaper article from the year, and it said on there that he fondled a 14-year-old who he allegedly thought was older, like she was of age, but she was actually 14. He was convicted of the crime that summer, and he went to prison, and now it was up to Kelly to provide for her family.
That just came out of nowhere. Like, we were just talking about their family was chilling, thrilling, and then all of a sudden he's in jail for something like that.
Yeah, but the family was. He's probably the one that was doing shit behind, you know, obviously Kelly's back. So
Obviously. And then, that's crazy to me. Okay.
Now, obviously, it was a big change. You know, Kelly went from being a stay-at-home mom for how long? She probably never worked a job to having to provide for her family. And thankfully, her mom, Geraldine, was able to offer a helping hand. Y les dijo que se pueden ir a vivir con ella.
So are they still in Franklin at this time?
They're in Bryan.
In Bryan. Ya se mudaron para Bryan.
Yeah, I think Franklin's like a little sub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, por ahí, yeah. Now, so Kelly moved in with her 2 kids into her mom's house. And while I'm sure they were very grateful to have somewhere to live, things were tough with everyone living under the same roof. Like I just said, it was a big adjustment, especially for Kelly and her mother, who lived completely different lifestyles. You know, cada quien tenía su forma de vivir and, you know, of doing things.
Yeah, definitely.
It actually caused a lot of tension between the two, and they began to not get along.
Oh.
Kelly was trying to raise her children while working for the first time in her life to provide for them. She was depressed and she felt alone and isolated. And this is kind of where things began to kind of take a turn in Kelly's life. Now, Melissa, she would have a lot of friends over. For like get-togethers, and I want to say that their house was kind of like the hangout spot. Siempre se pasaban ahí huerquillos.
I think that it also también como que la mom wanted to make sure that she was trying to process what happened with her dad a little bit, so la dejaba. Yo creo también que, you know, you can do those kind of things because, I mean, your dad just went to jail for doing something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with the kid.
Yeah.
Now...
Y me dijiste que ella tenía 12 a esta edad, ahorita.
No, when Kevin was born. She was 12 when Kevin was born.
Okay, so ahorita...
She's probably like 13, 14.
13, 14.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like
so
she was
basically
barely...
almost the same age as somebody that your dad had, you know.
Yeah. Yes. Now, like I said, Melissa had a lot of get-togethers at her house and, you know, little parties here and there. And Kelly began to party and drink with the kids.
What the hell?
And became friends with her daughter's friends.
No, ma'am. No. Mm-mm. I'm not my daughter's friends at all. No. That's gross.
And you're in your 30s.
Yeah. No, ma'am. It's unacceptable. I'm sorry. You can't. I get it. You know, you're depressed. You're going through a lot. You don't know anybody and all of this stuff. But why not talk to their friends' moms or something? Why,
Right.
you know, like, no.
Now, when Melissa was in the 6th or 7th grade, so she must have been like 13. I can decir
13.
por ahí, you know, like an
14,
estimate. She met a boy named Christian Olsen, whom she became good friends with. She later described him as someone who was very smart and athletic. He was really good at soccer. And that he didn't have to try very hard. Like, things just came naturally to him.
I hate people like that. Ugh. Yo no puedo hacer nada.
Have to try. Since Christian and Melissa had classes together, she'd sometimes go over to his house and, you know, they would work on school projects and such. And then Christian también siempre andaba en la casa de Melissa, you know, because her was like the get-together house. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they started off friends and then they began to date. Melissa and Christian began to date.
Oh, wow.
To date.
Okay. They had a gate?
Apparently I think so, maybe too. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not sure how long it lasted, but they eventually broke up.
Okay.
You know, así de huerquillos, like relationship de huerquillos. Regardless of the breakup, Christian continued to spend time at Melissa's house.
And what was Geraldine telling her? Like,
I don't know if she just... I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if she just felt better that if her daughter was going to be out partying and stuff, it was better que lo hiciera en su casa. I don't know, you know?
I still can't get over that because my daughter is around that age and I'm not going to be friends with her friends. We're not going to sit there and chill, girl.
And party together.
No,
and
ma'am.
Drink.
No. So that's why I can't get past that.
Yeah. And I don't think you should get past that, you know? Like I said, they had broken up and Christian still continued to spend time at Melissa and Kelly's house.
With Melissa. Uh-huh.
Let's get into Christian for a bit, okay? So Christian was born on June 20th of 1987. He was adopted, but he was adopted into a good family. His parents were Michael and Rebecca Olsen, and Michael was a chemical engineer, I think, for Texas A&M. And Rebecca had a master's in education. I believe she was like a teacher, professor, and she did a lot of things. She did a lot. Much like Kelly's upbringing, Christian also seemed to have a good one, you know? It is reported that things might have shifted for him in the home when Christian's younger brother began to suffer from emotional issues, and his parents began to focus more of their attention onto the younger brother and less on Christian. So it was kind of like he was left to his own devices. So he became rebellious, you know, around that age, and
for attention.
Yeah. And the relationship between him and his parents began to struggle. Whereas before he would tell his parents, hey, voy a salir con esta persona, we're going to go here. He would always let them know of lo que iba a hacer. That stopped. He had been attending confirmation classes en la iglesia de sus parents, and he stopped attending those también. Now, Kelly saw that Christian was having like a hard time with his parents, and to her, she was also having like a hard time. And I guess she thought that she wished she had somebody in her corner. She thought that she could be that person for Christian. Now, remember at this point, Melissa and Christian are no longer dating, but he was still hanging out at her house. And he was now spending a lot of time at the Lloyd Sifuentez home because he and Kelly were friends.
What?
They became close.
Close of what? Like, what do you mean by that?
Kelly was at this time in her mid-30s, and she developed an attraction for the 14, 15-year-old.
That's not okay. What? So then, hold on. Ya me hiciste enojar. So then Melissa's dad, Felix went to jail for fondling prison for fondling a 14-year-old. And now this lady, Kelly, which is Melissa's mom, is having feelings for a kid
that her daughter had dated.
Oh, God. No, girl. Are you kidding me? ¿Y luego?
They talk on the phone. And like late at night and like text. Like, I don't know if text was a thing back then. Like it was, like mid 2000s. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was.
I
mean, you would take forever because you were pressing like one button at 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. Man, I was a master at that when I was.
Remember, like when you had to text in class and you knew it, like
no, you would go like
you would just like you already knew what buttons to press. Man, kids nowadays don't know what we had to go through.
Yeah, well, I would text Alex like so fast, like yeah, it was crazy. We would.
I remember the only game you had was like Tetris.
Tetris, that was it. But you thought you were the coolest.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, I am the coolest, so.
Okay, so Kelly was like, okay, nothing's going to happen. You know, I just have like whatever that nastiness was that she thought that she had for the boy.
Please.
But when Christian began to like send her like flirty text messages to her, that was like her sign that, oh shit, you know.
What
he likes me
listen
too.
to what the fuck you're saying,
bitch. I know. I looked into this shit. What do you think? I know what I'm saying.
Are you kidding me right now? Okay.
Since meeting Kelly, Christian began getting into more trouble. You know, de por sí andaba rebellious and stuff. And Michael and Rebecca Olsen noticed the change in him and this odd relationship that he was now having with an older woman.
That could be his mom.
Rebecca. Even in 2002, Rebecca, so this is Christian's mom, confronted Kelly about her hanging out with a whole bunch of teenagers.
Yes.
After she had like driven a group of them to toilet paper houses.
What?
And other minor criminal acts.
Okay.
Like imagine you driving your daughter and her one friend to like toilet paper a house.
I'm not going to drive you around. First of all, you ain't got no gas money. Second of all, no.
I'm not going to drive two of y'all.
No. And then third of all, toilet paper is expensive. You know what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
So
girl.
No.
It's precious.
It's precious. No.
And according to Rebecca, que no, like Kelly no le dijo nada. No sé si la ignoró o qué, pero she didn't get any answer out of her. And Christian también, he was caught stealing and had like a year of like juvenile probation and for like credit card abuse, and he would like forge shit, and he was a thief, pues, para decir.
Okay.
He was thieving. Is thieving a word?
Thieving,
like a thief.
We just made it right now.
Okay. He was thieving.
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. This is our podcast.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want.
Thieving it is.
Yeah. He was thieving.
But you have to say it like that, thieving, because si no,
yeah,
it
si no,
doesn't work.
not thieving.
No, it's not thieving.
At home, when he get grounded and stuff, Kelly, ella le compraba like fast food and she would like sneak it in.
What the?
Through his window.
Like, esta señora está mal. Like, she needs help.
When his parents le quitaban el cell phone, ella le compró uno. I don't know if it was like a burner phone or no sé qué, pero she got him a phone so they could communicate.
This kid is 14?
Yeah, por ahí. Let's say 14, 15. I can see.
What the fuck? Either way, it's still bad.
When Christian's parents weren't home, she would go over to his house. When he would run away from his house, he'd go stay over at her house.
Okay, so I'm guessing at this point they're having a sexual relationship.
We'll get there. This happened multiple times. And when it was during one of those times that things turned physical.
Oh my God.
Between the two, while Kelly kids were in the house and her mom.
That's not okay. That's disgusting.
Rebecca would go look for Christian at Kelly's house.
No, Rebecca sounds like she was like, no, you're not.
And cuando Kelly contestaba la puerta, miraba que era Rebecca, no la dejaba entrar and look for her son.
Hija de la verga. Yo ya le hubiera... No, I would... Ooh, girl.
Putazos?
Unos pinches putazos a la verga. What do you mean you're not going to let me find my son?
There was an instance when Rebecca went to Christian school to talk about his absences. I guess she had noticed that he had been absent or something, or that he was skipping classes. And she found out that the guardian contact had been changed to Kelly. and to Kelly's address and her phone. So that's why she had never was notified that he was being absent from school, from classes. You know, his parents tried to rid him of Kelly's presence. They took him to counseling. Like, they would send him to like camps and programs for like troubled kids for his age. And he would complete those programs. And it seemed like he was doing well. But as soon as que regresaba y se juntaba con esta, it all went to shit.
No, es que he was just doing it para callarle la boca. Yeah.
Maybe. Michael and Rebecca even reported it to the police.
Yes.
And they tried to get a restraining order about, you know, his relationship with Rebecca, pero it never turned into anything.
Say that again.
Oh, Rebecca's his mom, I'm sorry, between him and Kelly.
Yeah.
Pero Christian always denied any of their claims. So they were like, well, you know. Now, the Olsens hit their breaking... So this was like years. Like, pasaron years.
I was about to say, like, what is Melissa saying about this?
The Olsens hit their breaking point when... I guess their hard limit was that Christian was using drugs. And I don't know if they just didn't want that in their house, which I understand because he had a little brother.
Yeah.
So
and it sounded like they were kind of church. They would go to church.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
So, which is nothing that's awesome.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it sounded like maybe that's why they were kind of refraining. I mean, not that anybody should have drugs in their house, but that was probably what they were like, no, we'll put our foot down. Like,
yeah. No. So they asked him to leave the house. Mm-hmm. And I think he was already 18.
Uh-huh.
Where did Christian go?
To Kelly's.
He moved in with Kelly and her family. And
I just want to know what is Geraldine,
everybody else saying, right?
Charlie and Melissa.
Like, I don't know where Charlie was because they never mentioned him. I don't know if he ended up passing away, to be honest.
Don't say that.
I don't know. Pero
I just don't understand.
And I guess, like I said, cuando se escapaba de su casa, he would go over to Kelly's and stay there. So I guess when he moved in, it was under the pretenses that he was just going to stay there for a little bit and that they were friends anyway.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Girl, you don't have to tell me. I know.
Dijo The Rock, it does not matter.
Now, it is believed, like we just kind of briefly discussed, that Kelly and Christian's physical relationship began when he was like 14, 15. And now that, you know, Christian was, I think, 18, if they wanted to, they can make the relationship public. But for the next year, they still decided to keep things under wraps, which I don't know how you do that. Like we're saying, to be honest, what does everybody else in the house say?
I need to find out. Like, I need to talk to Geraldine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did the others in the house just suspect and they were just like, they just turn a blind eye to it, thinking like this, there's no way.
Not only Melissa,
like, out of
but
sight,
she has
out of mind.
Son.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like, I have no idea, but I need answers because...
But whatever. If they were turning a blind eye for whatever reason, they weren't going to be able to do that for much longer. Porque one day, Melissa came home from somewhere, and I don't know from where, and she tried to go into her room in the house. I don't know what room. But when she tried to go into this room, the door was locked. So she knocked, and Kelly opened the door, and she hadn't been in the room by herself. Christian was also there.
Okay.
And I think this is the moment where everything about their relationship came out. Like, I don't know how she found him in the room. Quién sabe, pero Kelly le abrió la puerta. And Melissa does go on to say that she was in shock. I don't think she could process what she was seeing. And I guess she didn't know what to think. It's one thing to suspect it, but to actually just see it with your own eyes and just be out in the open, I think it's, you know, it would shock anybody.
Yeah, you would think. The
community, you know, frowned upon it, but no one really said anything, you know, to their faces or whatever. I mean, why would you? You know, like, and everybody just went about their business.
Yeah, like everybody just minds your business.
And everybody acted like everything was normal and everything was fine.
You try to act like everything's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
to not really deal with it, I guess. I don't know, but...
Like throwing things under the... ¿Cómo se llama?
Sweeping things under the
rug, yeah.
Now, this brings us to a stormy night in early June of 2007.
Oh, why can't it storm here? Pero not enough for it to like be a storm.
Like a tropical depression?
Pero no like a storm. Pero que esté frío y rainy.
Maybe.
Yeah, I want that.
Maybe in January. Because it's not going to happen this year.
Not anytime soon.
At around midnight, Hazel Ogden received a call from her best friend's alarm company letting her know that the alarm had gone off at 68-year-old Etta Jean Westbrook's home.
Etta Jean.
Etta Jean.
If you're, bruh, how much Texan can you be?
Etta Jean.
Etta Jean.
Etta Jean.
Oh my God, I love it. What was her last name?
Westbrook.
Perfect. Etta Jean
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
Yep.
I love it.
I'm assuming, obviously, Hazel must have been like a backup emergency contact for Etta. Police were dispatched to the home and Hazel met them there. The responding officer took a quick look around and told Hazel that everything in the home seemed to be, I guess, like okay, like nothing seemed like somebody had gone inside the home or anything. But Hazel insisted to the officer that everything was not fine due to a couple of things. First of all, it was a rainy, stormy night. Like the police officers were receiving calls from everybody around town because the power kept on going off and such. Mm-hmm. But Hazel, like one of the things that she noted was that Etta hadn't answered her door, but her cars were in the driveway.
Okay.
2, there also seemed to be a light on inside the home.
So why didn't she come to the door if the light was on, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And 3, and most importantly, she could see a raw chicken on the counter.
Not the fucking raw chicken.
I don't know if it was raw, but I just said raw, but it was a chicken on the counter.
Was she about to cook it?
Exactly. And according to Hazel, that was completely out of, Etta Jean's character to do that and leave like a chicken on the counter.
Etta Jean would not.
Not Etta Jean.
No, she would have it in
cooked
the oven.
Or in the fridge.
Yeah.
So Hazel knew that something definitely had to be wrong.
That should have been number 1.
So they walked around the home and found that the actual back door was open or was unlocked, I'm sorry. So they went in and that's when they found Etta Jean's body facing down on the floor of her living room and a pool of blood.
Poor Etta Jean, man.
And sadly, she was pronounced dead at the scene.
Wow.
Initially, investigators believed that Etta Jean had hurt herself. I don't know how they came to this conclusion, but like a first initial thought was that she committed suicide.
But she's 68, dude. She's not like 100.
Yeah, I mean, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, like, I mean, what I was trying to say was like, Etta's not like to a point where she can't, if she got hurt or something, que se haya caído or anything like that, she's young. That's what I was trying to say. She's not like old, que digas tú que, she can't take care of herself.
No, but like I said, they initially thought that she had committed suicide and they were, I guess in the way that they have found her and they just found her in a pool of blood, they were expecting to find the gun under her body once they, turned her over. But when they didn't find a weapon, and no forced entry into the home, they then believed that her death was an accident, that she might have possibly have fallen and hit her head. But
everything but it being somebody coming in there and killing her, right?
Yeah, because they couldn't find any like visible wounds or anything like that, like.
And she was shot.
They just saw her in a pool of blood, but she didn't have like a bullet hole in her stomach or anything like that.
Oh,
so
okay.
That same day or early morning, her body was sent for an autopsy to Austin. And the medical examiner noted that Etta Jean's death hadn't been an accident at all. They say that when he was like washing her body and cleaning off the blood, he noticed that she had holes in her skull.
Oh, shit.
And so she had many blows to her head, which were about 25 holes to her skull.
Danger. That's a lot.
That wasn't all. She had also had bruising around her neck, which led them to believe that she had also been strangled.
Strangled, yeah.
With the information that Etta Jean's death had been a homicide, investigators returned to her home and processed it with a fine-tooth comb now, like with extra care. The only blood that they had initially found at the crime scene was the one that she was found in, which had been hers. But based on her wounds, they figured that there should have been more blood.
More blood, yeah.
Yeah. So it was described as an ointment that was called Blue Star, which shows blood that has been cleaned up. And
I mean, you can't spray it?
I don't know. I think that's luminol.
It's luminol, but I'm just saying.
They said ointment. I don't know. They have like a...
¿Te imaginas andar ahí con la mano nada más poniendo el pinche?
I don't know how you use Blue Star. I don't know how you put it on things.
I need to find that out.
Okay, you do that. So when they used the Blue Star, they found smears of blood on the ceiling.
You're right. It is an ointment.
On the walls, and even on nearby furniture.
So they cleaned it. Pero Blue Star is for anti-itch, dude.
Say put Blue Star blood.
Oh, so basically it's for anti-itching, but you can also use it for making sure... It says, is a blood detective reagent that can reveal blood stains that are invisible to the naked eye, washed off or wiped off. But over here it says anti-itch.
Get you an ointment that can do both.
Girl, Blue Star can be sprayed on the ground and that's what I was thinking. And bushes around an area, not the bushes. Oh, it was originally developed for hunters to find wounded animals. But I swear it can be, well, I guess it is Blue Star. There's actual Blue Star ointment, and then they have the Blue Star like for other like for crime scenes.
It branched out.
Yeah, so it's Blue Star forensic, and then the Blue Star ointment is si tienes comezón en el culo.
Okay.
Actually, it's for psoriasis, eczema, and antifungal.
But you need that.
I need that shit. That's why. But they also have, so the one that you're talking about is Blue Star Forensics. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we cleared that up.
I was like, there's no way que van a andar con la crema, echando la crema. Like, it makes no sense. That's why I was like, what the fuck? Pero whatever floats their boat.
Yeah. Like I said, they found on nearby furniture también.
So there's blood everywhere.
Hours later, Etta Jean's sons, Randy and Curtis, walked through the home with investigators and pointed out inconsistencies that they noticed in the home and some things that were missing. Curtis noted that his mom's credit cards were missing from her purse. And it was also odd that her purse was in the guest bedroom instead of like her room, which she would have never left it in the guest bedroom. And Randy pointed out that a railroad spike used for keeping a I don't know how to say this word. It's like a kiln, right? It's the ones that people that make pottery, they like, los ponen a quemar the pottery.
Yeah.
Well, she used that roller spike to keep that kiln open, and that roller spike was missing.
Oh, okay. So she was a potter. She would do pottery.
I don't know. That's what I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
She actually had multiple roller spikes, but that specific one was the one that was missing that Randy pointed out.
So she probably used them for other things.
They probably knew what she used it for, right? So a railroad spike that could have possibly matched the holes on Etta Jean's head. That theory was reinforced when the medical examiner found a small piece of metal fragment in Etta's head that was like a reddish metal color. And what else was a reddish metal color? The railroad spikes that Etta Jean had in her home. So based on everything that was found at the crime scene, it was believed that Etta Jean was first attacked in the kitchen, porque ahí también encontraron blood and hair. And then the fight...
She was cooking.
And the fight continued into the living room.
She was cooking the chicken.
Where she was later found.
Yeah, porque there's no way that the chicken would have left out. So she was in there. She was about to cut the
Remember,
the
I don't know if the chicken was raw. I just threw that
pero
in there.
había chicken.
Yeah.
So then
What if
she
the
was
chicken...
cooking... or no creo que le había sacado del oven. So then estaba haciendo el chicken y fue cuando la atacaron porque she wasn't paying attention and she was paying attention to the chicken.
You'll find out. As they continued to look through the home, they came across a note that said something about a date.
What do you mean a date?
Not like a date that you eat, but like, I'm going to take you out on a date. The note was found near your computer. And when they looked through the browser history of the computer, it showed that someone had logged in to like the dating site matchmaker.com.
Oh shit.
So they thought that maybe they had found like a first lead or a clue.
She had a date.
Like had Etta Jean met a man for a date and then that date ended up with her being murdered.
Uh-huh.
So they decided to ask Curtis, like one of her sons, like I just said, because he lived in the area. And they, asked him if he knew anything about his mom possibly dating someone. According to him, as far as he knew, since Etta Jean's husband had died a few years ago, she hadn't been dating anyone.
Uh-huh.
And then he also goes on to let them know that Etta Jean could barely send an email and didn't really know anything about computers, that it had been him that logged into matchmaker.com.
So that was the last time he was there, so he logged in. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Since that lead didn't end up leading anywhere, investigators began talking to Etta Jean's neighbors. And they were like truly stumped. From what they learned, she was well liked in the community. She was described as being super sweet, super nice. They knew of her being like a very talented artist. So maybe she was into like
pottery.
She attended church.
Those pottery TikToks, they be going hard.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
She attended church and like a singles group. So, I mean, nobody had a bad thing to say about her.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
They were just like, who would want to hurt Etta Jean Westbrook?
Not Etta Jean.
And not just hurt her, dude. They like brutally killed her, like in the manner that they did. It was insane. But they wouldn't have to wait very long before their first big break in the case.
Okay.
Remember when Curtis let them know that his mom's credit cards were missing?
Yeah.
Well, investigators decided to pull her bank statements and learned that they had recently been used after she had been killed.
Oh, okay.
On June 3rd, 2007, between 2 p.m. and 8:15 p.m., the cards were charged with about $1,400 worth of purchases at H-E-B, Walmart,
Not the hip.
Walmart, Target, Kroger, and another couple stores.
Dang, they were just shopping out there.
And the things they purchased were like cleaning supplies,
Oh.
snacks, and other miscellaneous items,
Les dio hambre.
a hotel room,
Oh. Les dio hambrita.
and they needed a nap, I
They
guess.
needed a nap. They got tired.
And what do all these stores have?
Cameras.
Surveillance, bitch. Now, investigators went and pulled surveillance and saw a teenage boy wearing a t-shirt and shorts making purchases. Now, after speaking to a clerk at one of these stores, I don't know which one, they received their next big break. This clerk was able to identify the guy making the purchases because they had gone to school together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was Christian Olsen.
What the fuck? So él andaba shopping o qué chingos?
Now, police, were able to find Christian Olsen's address, which they realized the house that he lived in was right across the street from Etta Jean Westbrook's house.
Oh, my God.
And that house belonged to Geraldine Lloyd. Investigators were also able to secure an arrest warrant for Christian for using stolen credit cards and put the home under surveillance. On June 6th, they saw an opportunity to make an arrest. So they were like outside the house because I just said they put him on surveillance. And Christian and Kelly left in a car. So it was like around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So they followed him. And once they made a stop, they were pulled over for a traffic stop. Oh, I couldn't say traffic.
A traffic.
Traffic stop. Christian was placed under arrest and both of them were taken to a police station and placed in 2 separate rooms for questioning.
So ella andaba con él como like...
Well, yeah, just going about their day, I think they had to go pick up her son from school or something.
Stop. No.
Christian was, read his rights and they let him know the reason why he was brought in, which was for using stolen credit cards. They didn't right off the bat let him know that it was because those cards were from, his dead neighbor who had been brutally murdered and that he was now a person of interest. They didn't obviously let him know that. No, they just asked him where the cards had come from. And
so he had the cards.
Yeah, they know he had used them.
I'm just saying, like, so did he have them in his pocket or no?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
And cuando le preguntaron where he got the cards from, él dijo that he had found them as he was walking to the park with Kevin, Kelly's son, and that they were in a gutter.
In a gutter.
In a gutter on the way there.
Okay.
Investigators, obvio, no le creían. Then they asked him about a wound he had on his right hand. It was like on one of his fingers, which he had a Band-Aid over.
Oh, okay.
He said that he was doing something with the swing or swings in their backyard and that he had to cut a rope of the swing. Y cuando cortó la riata, he cut his finger. And they told him to take off the Band-Aid and everything.
It reminds me of somebody I know. Last week's case.
They were like, okay, sure, dude, whatever. Then they asked him if he had ever been in Etta Jean's home. And he said yes. Él dijo que he had borrowed a cooking pan from her on June 2nd and then returned it. They were like, okay, cool. They asked him a couple more details. He said he had been in the house, so they asked him details about inside of the house, right? And he answered as best as he could. And then they drove in and they're like, why'd you hurt her?
Oh, okay.
And Humpty Dumpty over here cracked.
Of course he did.
He said that he didn't know why. That he didn't know why and he didn't even know her.
But you asked her for a frying pan?
He didn't know her like that,
Oh, okay.
You know, cuando los neighbors back in the day te pedían azúcar and stuff?
Yeah.
He was asked what set off the events of that night, and he responded with, quote, "I am a fucked up person."
Oh.
He started crying.
I mean, he's a kid.
And saying that he wasn't a normal person. And when he was saying, I'm not a normal person, I'm not a normal person, one of the detectives tells him that, everyone makes mistakes and that he was normal. It was a mistake. And, still crying, he was like, a normal person doesn't do this. Again, still llorando, he recalled the events of what led up to Etta Jean's murder. He said he still continued with the fact that on June 2nd, he went over to borrow a baking pan. Etta Jean se la prestó, and then he returned it the next day on 3rd after Etta Jean had gotten home from church. He went over. Etta Jean invited him in because she's super sweet. And I'm not sure after how long of being in the home, things, took a turn. But he said that he grabbed the railroad spike from her garage and attacked her.
But was she in the garage? Maybe she was in the garage.
No, I think he went into the because everything started in the kitchen, remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So then did they go? I wonder why they went into the garage.
He went first. I don't know how he made it there. He went on to state that the initial attack happened in the kitchen and that he didn't know what triggered it or what started it. After her attack in the kitchen, she tried to escape and made it to the living room, which, if you remember, based on the evidence, it's what investigators believe had already happened at the very beginning. It was during the attack that he cut himself. So he went into the restroom. Se estaba lavando las manos. And investigators believe that while he was in there, Etta Jean either made like a noise and he thought that she was still alive. And it's when he went back, sat on top of her and strangled her.
Oh, okay.
Still crying. Todavía llorando el hombre. El muchacho, el niño. He said that he didn't know why he did it and that he's never hurt anyone in his life and that he wasn't violent. He proclaimed that he was a thief for sure, but that he had never hurt anyone before. And he, again, just kept on stating that he didn't know why he did it. He says he remembered taking cash, I think about $150, the credit cards from her purse, and then leaving the house. And said that he got rid of the weapon and the clothes that he was wearing. And the weapon was never recovered. I think they even searched like the local landfill. I don't know if he told them this is where I threw it away at or anything, pero nunca la encontraron. At the beginning, at least, he seemed remorseful until he didn't and turned off his emotions and just became very closed off and very cold. And though they had his confession, it was still unclear why he killed Etta Jean when he had never hurt anyone, as he had previously stated. But they would soon get the answer to that too. Now, in another room, investigators told Kelly that Christian had just confessed to Etta Jean's murder. And she seemed shocked and upset, and she couldn't believe it. And even though she said that she didn't know anything about it and denied being involved, investigators didn't really quite believe her either.
No. I mean, she was with him at all times, so I don't...
You're right. This my next line. It says, especially since upon further review of the video surveillance from the stores, Kelly was also there making purchases.
Yeah, she was at Target and shit, so no.
Yeah, that meant that she was with him right after the murder, buying stuff, and then they spent the night together at a hotel.
Yeah.
When they present that to her, she says that she didn't know and thought that the credit cards were his parents. So you thought que le robó las credit cards at his parents?
Whatever. Dude.
And obviously, well, I mean, they didn't have anything on her, so la dejaron que se fuera para su casa. They didn't have anything on her yet. A couple of weeks into June, like towards the later of June, they were able to execute a warrant to search Kelly's home in hopes of finding evidence that would link her to Etta Jean's murder and also find more evidence against Christian, you know, that would incriminate him in Etta Jean's murder. In the search, they did find the receipts of some of the stores that they went shopping that day of. And one thing that they noticed también in the home was that there was no Geraldine around.
What?
Around the same time, one of the sergeants received an email. I think his name is Sergeant Darby. Received an email, I'm not sure from who, telling him that an older lady lived in that home too, and they hadn't seen her in a while.
What the fuck?
And by this time, obviously, word had gotten out. I mean, Christian had already been arrested. You know, I'm sure people around the neighborhood ya sabían lo que había pasado. So everybody was like, oh shit, we haven't seen Geraldine in a while. Let me, let me let them know.
But I bet see if they're going to be in there, might as well look for her too, you know?
Yeah. So they asked Kelly where her mom was. And she said that Geraldine was in Houston with some friends. They, took her word for it, but not really took her word for it. But it was something that they knew that they had to, look into and verify. And right before they were actually able to reach the department here in Houston and ask, they received a phone call from Felix Sifuentez.
Felix? From jail?
Kelly's estranged husband.
Yeah.
At this time, he had already been out from prison, but not for long.
Okay.
And he was living in Waco with his mom as a registered sex offender. He proceeded to tell the investigators that he was trying to build a relationship with his children now that he was out, and that he'd also been talking to Kelly recently. And that during their latest conversation, Kelly confessed to him that her mom, Geraldine Lloyd, was buried in the backyard of her own home, and that Christian Olsen had done it.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
No.
What?
Later, according to Kelly's sister, because remember Kelly had an older sister,
Yeah.
Cindy, from what she understood, Kelly was aware of what had happened to their mom, and she was scared. Le tenía miedo a Christian. And since she was just so plagued by this secret, she couldn't keep it in any longer and felt comfortable enough to tell Felix. So cuando ella le dijo a Felix, that's when Felix called the police himself.
Yeah. Felix did the right thing. Sex offender and shit.
With this new information, they returned to Geraldine's home with a new warrant that allowed them to excavate the backyard.
What the fuck?
Now, in the backyard, they noticed that there was like a big brush pile that to them, they said that it just looked odd. Like, why is it here like randomly, right? So they removed it. They removed the brush. And after they removed it, that they just were able to smell like a very, it was described as a putrid smell. So they began to dig there and excavate. As they were doing so, they found a pillow. They kept on digging and digging. And it took, after a couple of hours, they were able to locate part of her body.
Damn. Well, how deep did he fucking put her?
Geraldine was 63 or had been 63 years old.
So now there's two people that are murdered.
Her body was sent for an autopsy, and her cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head.
Again.
Just like
Yeah.
Etta Jean. Later, this is so sad, but I mean, everything's so sad. But later, the medical examiner testified that she had been hit so hard that it cracked her skull in half.
Shit.
And that it seemed that she had been murdered, or she had been dead for about 6 months.
Oh my gosh. You just go about your life and not tell anybody because you're scared of this dick? What the hell?
Soon after, Christian was questioned about the murder of Geraldine, and he said that he didn't kill her. So they were like, okay, you're saying that you didn't kill her, but we received a call, like a report, somebody saying that you did kill her and you buried her in the backyard. And to that, he wasn't really saying much. He would just make like comments here and there. He would say, I didn't kill her. And then he would be like, is Kelly here in jail then?
Oh.
And then he just kind of, shut up about the whole thing and said he wanted a lawyer and said that he wasn't going to speak on it anymore. Now, investigators and CSI went back to Geraldine's house now with the warrant to search it. And when it came to her room, to Geraldine's room, or where was Geraldine's room, they found something really strange outside the door. The detective goes on to say that it had a deadbolt.
Uh-huh.
But he was like, bitch, deadbolts are for outside the house, not inside the house.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So the deadbolt was outside
of her bedroom.
Not inside her bedroom.
No.
To protect her. So it was outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they made their way inside the bedroom, and the bed was made. It was made, and it looked like it had brand new sheets. So, they started looking around and such, and looking around the bed, and they turned it over, and there was blood under it that had gone through the mattress. So they moved the mattress under the bed. There was a bowl with bloody water and a rag.
So they forgot to pick up the bowl? I don't understand.
I just don't know if they left it like that.
Those people, are idiots. I just want you to know that. You do realize you can't just clean shit like that up.
And then deadbolt the place up. And then just close the door and never go in there ever again.
Wow. Okay.
When this was presented to Kelly, she denied any involvement in her mom's murder. She pinned it all on Christian, as they usually do, and said that she was asleep when he did it. When detectives asked her why, she never mentioned anything to them. Because remember, when they first got stopped, she was in a room and being questioned too. They were like, why didn't you tell us anything then? And she said that it's because she was afraid to go to prison for the rest of her life.
Well, why are you going to prison if you didn't do nothing?
Exactly. So she said that when she couldn't keep the secret in any longer, she told Felix, as I mentioned earlier. And like you just said, investigators weren't buying it. Her demeanor was off and only kept on repeating that she was afraid that she was going to go to prison. But like you just said, if you didn't do anything, what are you worried about?
What are you worried about? Yeah.
Yeah. Based on that statement, it led them to believe that she knew exactly what had happened. If she hadn't participated, she knew what had happened. So while they were searching Kelly and Christian's room, because they were still in the house, remember, they found like a mountain of paperwork, which had been, obviously they went over the paperwork. And when they were going over it, they found that the paperwork had been forged or signatures had been forged or altered. They had Geraldine's signature, but based on the dates on the paperwork, she had already been killed.
Okay. So
when she had a signature on a paper.
So then they wanted her money or something?
There on those papers was the motive behind Geraldine's murder. So Kelly and Christian had been stealing money out of her account. And it had been like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Shit.
When Kelly was confronted with that information, she did admit to stealing the money. Now, it is believed that Geraldine found out about it and was going to go to the police. So she was killed before she could.
So she was like, okay, so you guys are stealing from me. I'm gonna go to the cops.
Yeah.
And so then they were like, no, you're not.
But to police, remember, Kelly's pinning all of this on Christian, right?
Yeah.
Que ella no sabía nada. But to police, it wasn't likely that Christian would plan to kill Geraldine, Kelly's mom, without her knowing about it.
Yeah.
Like, how would you do that? They must have planned it out, and Christian's just the one that did it.
If that was the plan that they were thinking, but the thing is,
She was involved.
She was involved
And
because
she knew.
she admitted for stealing the money.
Yeah.
So she knew something.
Yeah, exactly. Because ni modo que out of nowhere, la despertó, le dijo, hey, I killed your mom when you were asleep.
When you were asleep. No, it doesn't. I don't think that's right. No.
No, she knew. According to investigators, it is believed that Christian used like a baseball bat that was also from the garage.
The fuck is this, bro? Just finding shit in the garage.
And he did it while she was sleeping. While Geraldine was sleeping. Similar to Etta Jean, Just there's so many similarities between the two.
Yeah, they were almost the same age. They were around the same age. They were both like
blunt force trauma to the head.
They probably. It sounds like maybe Geraldine. You're right. Charlie must have passed away because if they were getting the money from Charlie, from
money de ella,
que le daban. So maybe,
Or maybe she was already retired. También la pobre.
También, yeah.
So after she was murdered, they both covered up the crime and spent her money. And I don't know if what they had just wasn't enough and they wanted more. It was then that they started scoping out Etta Jean Westbrook.
Why don't you get a fucking job? How about that?
Play the lotto, bitch. Maybe you might get lucky. I don't know.
Get a job. Why kill people?
I don't know what people were doing in 2007. No me acuerdo.
Yeah, well, get a job. How about that?
Christian was charged with the murders of Etta Jean Westbrook and Geraldine Lloyd. And Kelly was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Though the couple was separated, they still continued to communicate through love letters.
That's disgusting. Oh,
but Christian wasn't the only one sending love letters to Kelly. She was also sending them to other women.
Oh, okay. Kelly, you just...
I mean, he was like 19, 20. And Kelly was like 41.
Danger, man. That's old. That's I don't know. Not that 41 is old. What I meant was like that's a difference right there. Shit.
That you started having feelings for this man when he was a teenager.
No, it wasn't a man. It was a kid.
A boy.
A boy.
Yeah. Christian's trial for the murder of Etta Jean Westbrook began in February of 2009. And the prosecution was seeking the death penalty. And if found guilty, he wouldn't be tried for Geraldine's death, but evidence for her case would be presented during the punishment phase. His defense portrayed Christian as a boy that had been easily manipulated and coerced by Kelly. They didn't deny that he had done it, but they did try to express that they believe that his life should be spared because he had been groomed and sexually abused by Kelly.
I mean, that right there is true.
Who he had met when he was 14 and she was 35.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's
that
true.
Right there is 100% true.
That's true.
But that doesn't give you the right to, and I think that probably in my mind, the way I see it is probably Kelly was like, you don't have a job, I need money, so let's.
But she was working, but I guess, I mean, le compraba celular.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is, like, she was probably like, we need money and
we need more.
or whatever. They
I don't
probably
know.
were doing drugs or something. I don't know their personal life, but.
Now, prosecutors did agree that Kelly had been a bad influence on Christian, but he still knew right from wrong. He knew what he was doing.
So se les acabó el dinero, and then that's when they went to go kill the other lady.
Now, pictures of Etta Jean's autopsy were showed to the jury. Of course, a lot of other people testified and stuff like that as well. And the pictures of Etta Jean obviously showed the brutality, of how she had been murdered. And they made, obviously, the intent to kill her was very clear. Yeah. Because he fucking strangled her and then put 25 holes in her head.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was no way that you could say it wasn't.
He wasn't trying to kill her. It was an accident. No, bitch.
No, you went back because you heard her moving. So yeah.
And then you went back and at some point cleaned the scene.
And you left her there.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Now,
with the blue star ointment.
Yeah, the police got you, bro. The science. The jury deliberated for about 45 minutes, and he was found guilty of capital murder. And he was sentenced to death by lethal injection. He is currently on death row.
We're in Texas, baby.
And there was, I think, a retrial, and
why?
But he ended up. They upheld the original.
I was about to say
verdict. Like they still convicted him again of capital murder and sentenced to death by lethal injection. So Kelly's trial was next, which, like I just said a little bit ago, was going to be for conspiracy to commit murder. But before her trial began, she changed her mind and took a plea deal.
Oh, really?
So she pleaded guilty in exchange for 30 years.
Okay.
So she was sent to prison.
So they still are like it's still saying que ella no tuvo nada que ver con el murder.
She
knew about it. But
right.
Okay.
Yeah, which I believe that too.
I don't, to be honest.
Kelly would only serve a short sentence.
What?
Because on May 15th of 2015, she was found in her cell covered in blood and hanging from a bedsheet.
¿Se mató? ¿O la mataron?
Se mató. And she had also had cuts like from her wrist to her elbow and then from her thighs to her knees. So she cut herself and then she hung herself.
Yeah, because she wouldn't die probably. That sounds bad. Sorry. But yeah.
So that's the case of Kelly Sifuentez and Christian Olsen.
That was crazy. That went south quick.
Like how I don't know.
But the root of all evil.
What? But okay, but what? Not even money. Like, ¿qué le ves a un niño? Why are you talking to?
Well, that right there,
there were many crimes in this case.
That was like just the first one with the dad, the husband. Second, you imagine how Melissa and her brother are doing without now a grandma.
Oh, and I did find that Kevin did pass away recently.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Why?
I found his obituary. I don't know how I came upon it. And I'm not sure. I don't know if it was in 2023. I'm not sure. But yeah.
That's so sad. You imagine what Melissa has been through so much. Yeah. Golly, man. I don't know why. I feel like she had something else to do with it, Kelly. She was probably manipulating him into saying, hey, we need to kill her, or hey, we need this money or whatever. I mean, obviously, maybe I don't know. To be honest, I don't know their life, but I'm just saying from an outsider, I would think that maybe she had something more to do with it than just that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And of course, she took the lazy way out. She killed herself. I mean.
Yeah, but it's not like what we're saying is that, yeah, obviously she did do those things, but it's not like she was the one that grabbed the bat and killed him. That's what they were saying, like.
And he's not going to kill himself. He's alive. He's just going to die.
He's on death row.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know what you think about this episode. We appreciate everyone listening. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. You can send us a message if you'd like. And you can also download our episodes, rate us, leave us a review.
All of the stuff.
All the things.
All the things.
All the things.
Please
We'd
download.
really appreciate it.
And share as much as you can. Thank you so much for everyone that has been sharing. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.